I don't know, honey. That could be just a fluke. And so anyway, with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. It's scheduled right on YouTube. Okay, so with that all being said, there is breaking news out of Pinellas County, Florida. They say a deputy ran over a 23-year-old woman who was sunbathing. So, 23-year-old woman was allegedly run over by an on-duty police officer while lying on the beach in St. Pete, Florida. Okay, so on Wednesday at approximately 1:08 p.m., Pinellas County deputies responded to a report of a vehicle versus pedestrian crash on the beach. According to the police, Deputy Todd Bryan, who's 58 years old, was on the beach patrol in his March 2017 Chevrolet Tahoe. While speaking to beachgoers, Bryan received a call from dispatch asking him to do a 911 hang-up at another location. And so Deputy Bryan made a right turn from his parked position, and then he struck a 23-year-old Robin Defendifer while she was lying on her back in the sand. Oh my God, can you imagine? And so the front driver's side tire of Bryan's vehicle drove over the woman's mid to upper back area and right side. She was transported to the hospital and sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Now, Bryan did not sustain any injuries, and police are continuing to investigate the incident. Man, that is all crazy. That is all crazy. Tanaya, don't say that. That could actually be true. Okay. Alvin said, what the hell, here we go again. Got to be Florida. Devil state of America. I know, right? It's always something. Always something. So now let's talk about Tyler Perry. So Tyler Perry is making a docuseries about a Black man who came up missing. This happened years ago. I want to say it was in 2012. Or maybe no, it was probably before that, but I think I first heard about it in 2012. I saw it on an episode of the Investigative Discovery Channel, the ID channel. So the man named Terrence Williams, right? He was supposed to be going to a party this night, and he was waiting for someone to pick him up because he wasn't supposed to be driving. His license had recently been suspended because he, in fact, had a DUI. So the person didn't come and pick him up, so he decided to drive his car. He ended up getting pulled over, and he was arrested. And then once he got into the police car, no one has seen or heard from him since. Okay, and the deputy gave conflicting stories. Okay, so let's get into it. Everyone get the likes up, please. Like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you in advance. Okay, so Tyler Perry shares the story of a Black man who vanished after entering a cop car. Tyler said, I had to get involved. So he has signed on to executive produce multiple episodes of the upcoming docuseries titled Never Seen Again. Now, it's set to air on Paramount. The emotional series explores the stories of people who have vanished from their loved ones' lives. Perry takes on the first two episodes, starting with a story that sparked widespread controversy. The case is described in the press as follows. A 27-year-old Black man named Terrence Williams disappeared in Naples, Florida in 2004 after he was last seen getting into a Collier County Sheriff patrol car. Now, at first, the officer said he never met Williams, but under questioning from police investigators, he then changed his story, saying that the young
Marcia Williams joins us from Florida. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
When did you realize your son was missing?
His friend, his roommate, was trying to find him, and he couldn't. And once I didn't hear from him, I knew that something was not right. It was just wrong.
When they played the tape between Calkins,
Okay, I'm seeing some people saying their screen is frozen. So some people's screen is frozen. Hold on. Is the screen still frozen? Did everyone try refreshing? Let me see something. Are you all screen still frozen? Okay, so I'm just gonna, okay, so since it's frozen, I'm just gonna start a whole nother live, people. That's clearly ScrewTube, honey. So I'm just gonna start another live. All right, hold on just a second. Let me go back in for a second. Okay, now it's back. That's just crazy, honey. Okay, so is everybody good? Because I can't start over. Okay, so it's back. All right. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, hold on. All clear. I think it's YouTube. Been doing that all day. Okay, so let's try it again. I'm going to share my screen. Everyone get the likes up. Likes up, please like and share.
The policeman and the dispatcher. Let me play for our listeners around the country, our viewers, to listen and see what was being said here. Now, this officer said he didn't know what they were talking about at first. He didn't know Terrence, but the dispatcher and he discussed this Cadillac, and also clearly there was some engagement.
Yeah, he told his mother because she was relentless in calling, trying to find out where her child was because she thought he was arrested. There were people at the funeral home who told her he was arrested, and she could not find any proof of that. So she kept calling the police, and they finally called him at home and said, "Do you remember this, the tow in the Cadillac?" And there's audio tape of him saying, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then they find this audio tape of him actually talking to the dispatcher.
Now, Ms. Williams, Felipe Santos disappeared 3 months before Terrence, same officer involved. You had no way of knowing that when you started pursuing what happened to Terrence. I mean, why has there not been outrage about this? Why have we not seen since 2004 people in Florida and others rallying?
I can't understand it. I just can't. I'm looking for answers. I just can't understand it.
You're looking for answers. Did you ever talk to the officer? Did you ever speak with Calkins?
I left. I had a detective in the beginning. He said that he would put Terrence's picture in Deputy Calkins' mailbox. And I said, please have him to contact me because I want to know what happened.
Right.
Never contacted at all.
How did you feel when Tyler Perry, the biggest star in Hollywood now, according to all records, contacted you out of nowhere and decided he wanted to help bring this case to the national spotlight?
I just looked at it and accepted it as an angel. that God has sent my way. And I cannot thank him enough.
Tyler, you've already gone on national radio. You're doing this show, and you've encouraged all of us saying, look, this is not what I do, but it touched my heart that this would happen and this lady deserves some justice.
Yeah.
Why is it so personal?
We all should be outraged because this is the kind of stuff that would happen in the 60s and earlier, where black people would just disappear and be disregarded and they're never heard from again. And there is somebody who knows something. And the problem with it is, and I've spoken to people about this in trying to help her get national attention. And what I've been told by a lot of mainstream media is that he's not sympathetic because of his history of he has children with different women, or he spent some time in prison when he was early. So he's not sympathetic. But I believe that is what, in my opinion, that this deputy was thinking, that nobody would care. But he has children that miss him. This is his mother. She misses and loves him. You know, Felipe Santos, he had family. You know, he's from Mexico and an immigrant, you know, and I think it's just unfair. And I just want to see justice be done and be served here. We've got to do something to help her.
Now, when do people have to qualify to have justice? I mean, it doesn't matter what his background is. You don't have the right to do this to him.
That's right.
And I think, you know, Mrs. Williams, I told Tyler Perry when he called us on it that we're coming down and we're going to have a national rally. We're going to help Tyler Perry for the spotlight on this, because your son represents a lot of people that have been marginalized, that people assume nobody cares about. And we can't have a country that people are only matter based on their pedigree or their criminal record or their family lifestyle. Yeah. Human beings matter.
Not in this America. You're right. This America.
Tyler's not going to have to stand by himself. If he can, with all he has to do, wake up. I mean, it's embarrassing. He has to wake the ministers up to do our job. But we're coming to Naples with Tyler Perry in March, and we're going to try to put a lot of spotlight on this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tyler, Marcia, we're going to rally, and we're going to keep this out there on the show. Thank you for your time tonight, to both of you. Thank you, Tyler.
God bless.
Al Sharpton talks so loud and so much. He didn't let Tyler Perry get a word in. Right? They just totally took over the whole conversation. Okay? And so anyway, that cop is clearly nefarious. And so now, like I said, the young man was on his way to a party and his car broke down on the side of the road by a funeral home. Okay? Now, it was at night, but fortunately, the people who worked in the funeral home were still there. So they literally saw him get into the cop car. They saw him being arrested because that cop lied at first, said he hadn't arrested him, didn't know who the man was, and then later changed the story and said, oh, I just gave him a ride and dropped him off at a gas station. But the people at the funeral home, they were concerned, I believe, because the guy's car was still there the next day. So they, in fact, reported that he had been picked up and arrested. Okay, and the mother, I think she went looking for him or something. But anyway, if it had not been for the funeral home employees that actually saw him get arrested, that cop would have just stuck to his lie. And then the other man who was arrested 3 months prior, they never found a trace of him either. And so, you know what? In my opinion, it's very likely that he did in fact take both of them to the Everglades and just dropped them off, probably killed them, and then just threw them in there to the alligators. Never got any type of consequences either. Okay, also nefarious, honey. And you know, they said this is like, Tyler Perry said this is like the stuff that happened in the 60s. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you remember the movie Mississippi Burning, when the 3 civil rights workers went down there, it was a black guy and 2 white guys, right? James Chaney, and I can't remember the other 2 guys' names, but when they went down there, they were actually killed by the police themselves. They were killed by the police because the police were Klansmen. That's why when they tell us now that Klansmen and wannabe supremacists have infiltrated the police departments all across the country, well, they didn't infiltrate. They've always been the police department. All right? What they should have said is that actually there are some good cops who've infiltrated the police department because they've always had Klansmen within the police. All right? And that's just what it is. So Schwerner and Goodman. Thank you, Louise. That's their name, Schwerner and Goodman. Absolutely, beloved. Thank you. Yeah, so they killed all three of them. They even killed the two white guys. And I guess they didn't care about them because they were part of the Orthodox community. So they're racist against them too, you know, especially and specifically back then. That's what the devils do, honey. Also sad. So anyway, now let's talk about Kim Kardashian. Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. Because Ray J came out and exposed her. Now, you all know that I was telling you all that Whack 100 was claiming that he had another tape of Kim and Ray J. And then they showed a scene on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, supposedly. I saw a clip of it on Instagram where Kanye said that he'd went and retrieved the laptop and the video was on there and all this stuff or whatever. And so anyway, that supposedly was not even true. They're saying that Kim did all that for a storyline. And so now, anyway, Ray J got ticked off because Ray J said she's basically trying to paint him as if he sexually assaulted her by a comment that she made on the show. So now he's dropped receipts, even text messages and all of that. Okay? I went into the... Right. Vetta's daughter said no one has confirmed whether or not Kevin Samuels is dead. Yeah, I haven't heard that being confirmed either. I do know that they said it was a rumor. That's all I heard. And you know, people start rumors sometimes, honey. They'll lie and say celebrities have passed on and all kinds of stuff. And so it's best not to even say anything until you know for a fact. Right? Kim is a trip anyway. Yeah, she absolutely is. So anyway, they say the infamous Kim Kardashian sex tape was released like an album by Kim herself. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because I told you all when I first was talking about this the other week, I told you all that Kim's sitting there acting like she's all distraught and all of this, but that's how she made her living. That's how she got rich and famous, was from that tape. So don't cry now. And then not to mention, like I told you all, I thought that her mother, Kris Jenner, was the one who leaked it, the one who put it out there, right? And so that's what Ray J basically is saying. So he's confirming that. Now, so they say the tape was released like an album by Kim herself, who kept the only copy of it stashed in a Nike shoebox under her bed, along with the rest of the steamy tapes that she made with Ray J. And that's what Ray J supposedly told the Daily Mail. Now, speaking for the first time about the tape in a bombshell interview with the Daily Mail, Ray J said that he had never possessed a copy of any tapes that they made together, only holding on to photos and texts that Kim sent him between 2002 to 2009. He also insists that he never did any of the things that she claims that he did in the Kardashians' new Hulu show. And he was outraged by her suggestion that he might have a video showing him sticking a dildo in the back door, if you know what I'm saying, which made him sound like he was a rapist without the G. Okay, and he said that's absolutely untrue. And I don't blame him for being ticked off. Who says that? Right? Now, this is all for her show. She's saying these things. And Ray J was ticked off, and I don't blame him. And so in a private text, a text message to Ray J, Kim admits, she says, if you're upset about the dildo comment, it was clearly a sarcastic joke, and I was laughing when I said it. Honey, that doesn't mean anything. You don't say nothing like that about a black man. You see, even the ones you think are down with black folk, honey, because I know a lot of black people like Kim Kardashian, at the end of the day, she still said some mess like that, all on a clout chase for her show. Okay? So anyway, Ray J dropped those receipts. And so this is what Ray J had to say. He said, I've sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, to make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I've never leaked anything. I have never leaked a sex tape in my life. It has never been a leak. It's always been a deal and a partnership between Kris Jenner and Kim and me. And we've always been partners since the beginning of this thing. Now, the former couple who got together in 2002 were both 21 years old. They made the infamous tape during her birthday celebration that year, and it was released in 2007. Ray J, now 41, told the DailyMail.com, putting out the video was his idea, and he suggested it to Kim after they saw how Paris Hilton's profile was boosted when the film she made with poker player Rick Solomon was leaked. Now remember, Kim Kardashian, before she got all of her fame and wealth, she was actually like Paris Hilton's assistant, okay? She was like her assistant. And so Paris had a tape that was leaked, and she made all these millions of dollars, and so that sounded like a good idea and a good way to make money to Kim and her mother. Okay, so they say, but while Kim claims that she didn't want to do it, Ray J says that the now 41-year-old embraced the idea and actually enlisted her mother, Kris Jenner, to organize the whole thing to be released via Vivid Entertainment, a process that he had very little to do with. And so she's sitting up there crying out and heard her mom did this, just like I told y'all last week, honey, but I said allegedly at the time because I couldn't confirm it. But the eventual contract, which was signed by both Ray J and Kim, was for 3 videos, including 2 sex tapes, one made at the Esperanza Hotel in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and one created in Santa Barbara, and a 3rd tape that is listed as an intro to the Cabo footage. Now, only one tape, the video that was shot in Cabo, was ever released. And the dad of 2, Ray J, told the DailyMail.com that all of the intimate tapes were kept in Kim's house in a shoebox under her bed. He specifically said in a Nike shoebox. Now, he said it was something we did in Cabo on a trip for her birthday, and it was something extra we were doing in the hotel. She kept all of the tapes. She had to go find that tape, the sex tape from Cabo, and then present it. I never had a tape in my possession in our whole relationship. I never had a single one at my house. She had them at her house. She always had all the tapes in a Nike shoebox under her bed. I'm sure she has bigger beds now and better boxes, he said. That's how it all came about. Once I pitched the idea to her, just playing around a little bit, that's when she jumped on the idea, talked to her mom, and it was out of my hands from there. Now, neither Kim nor Kris, age 66, responded to the Daily Mail's request for comment. Yeah, they don't want to admit that they've been sitting there telling these lies on that show, allegedly. Because at the end of the day, here's the thing. Like I told you, the storyline was they came back and now saying there's a 2nd tape, and Kim was crying and saying that her son was watching Roblox, some show for children, and her picture of a cry face popped up, and then it said something about the tape. And so then Kanye was supposed to go retrieve it from WAC 100 or whatever, or he got it from Ray J and then brought it to her on the show, the laptop. And Ray J said that was absolutely not the case. It was never on a laptop. And so anyway, Ray J now regrets the whole thing. So I'm going to share my screen. Hold on just a moment so you all can see this. Everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Yeah, Lee Harp says she's a faker all day. Obviously, beloved. Obviously. All right?
A Daily Mail TV exclusive. Ray J reveals that a 2nd sex tape with his ex, Kim Kardashian, does exist. In a bombshell interview, the hip-hop star tells us where it could be hidden and who is to blame for the first leak back in 2007.
You know there are people who say that you put it out yourself. You know that.
Yeah. And, I think why would anyone put that humiliation on their family?
Ray Norwood, better known as Ray J, calls his sex tape with Kim K the biggest lie in the history of entertainment.
I felt humiliated.
Both in their 20s, Ray J says he and Kim signed a contract to release 2 sex tapes, but only one was ever made public.
I shot the tape, and she kept the tape.
Ray J claims Kim enlisted her mom, Kris, to organize the tape's release, a process he had little to do with. Both tapes were allegedly kept under Kim's bed in a Nike shoebox.
Click on it. Oh, hold on.
Ray J's final straw, the Kardashians' new Hulu show that made a storyline around the unreleased sex tape.
Thing popped up and he started laughing. I was like, Mommy, look. And it was a picture of my cry face. And it was a game that someone made of Roblox. And it said Kim's new sex tape.
What did you get?
Well, that's what she wants to show you.
In another episode, Kim's ex, Kanye, boasts about collecting a laptop with the unseen sex tape from Ray J.
He got me all of the sex tape back.
But Ray J claims the device only contained intimate photos and mini videos Kim sent to him during their 4-year relationship. In recent DMs between Kim and Ray J, Kim apologizes for how the new show affected him. The now 41-year-old regrets his role in the tape's release, and today he is expecting repercussions for just speaking out.
I've always been concerned about the family, humiliating the family, and that's what I did.
We've learned that Kim Kardashian's sex tape co-star Ray J is following in his famous ex-girlfriend's footsteps. The singer is in secret talks with the Trump administration over a potential pardon of convicted killer and rapper Suge Knight.
Cheyenne Roundtree has more on the exclusive story from our New York newsroom. Cheyenne, what do you have for us?
Jesse, I'm not sure if Ray J has reached out to Kim, but she's clearly on his mind as he works to get a pardon for Suge Knight, with an insider telling us he saw what Kim was able to do with her work in the criminal justice system, and he is determined to show he can do the same. While Kim has met with the president, Ray J's visits keep getting delayed because they want the singer to join the president on the road, inviting him on Air Force One to accompany Trump to rallies. Suge Knight was sentenced to 28 years in prison for a hit and run, but a source close to Ray J says the rapper has learned from his mistakes and is ready to turn over a new leaf. Ray J is not worried about fallout for his career by meeting with Trump. Instead, he thinks if he can get Suge out, people will respect him as a true mogul who can get things done no matter the political affiliation.
Cheyenne Roundtree, thanks.
Okay, so you all see how she sat there and lied, right? When Oprah flat out asked her, she said, who would want to bring that humiliation upon their family? Well, first of all, here's the thing. Humiliation is a form of shame, okay? And you can't be humiliated if you're shameless, all right? And clearly that's what she was. And now she wants to sit up there and try to tell all these lies or whatever. But like I told you all, Ray J was upset about what they said in that storyline, trying to paint him as having done something to her while she was asleep. That's what ticked him off, and that's why he finally said something about it. Now, as I said, he also posted the text messages, and I'm going to show you all those receipts. And Kim clearly told on herself. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me start at the beginning. Hold on. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there are the text messages. I'm going to read them to you. So this is what Ray J sent to Kim. He said, why are you playing games, Kim? I've been nothing but a team player. We all had an agreement. Now you are trying to drag my name for your new show, and that ain't cool. F up my business and relationships. When we sat down with somebody whose name is redacted, and your mom, and we all of us planned. See, hold on, and we all planned all of this together. Now you really are taking this lie to the next level, making me look crazy. I don't want to expose the real, I guess that's shite, a curse word or whatever. I don't want to expose the real deal or whatever, but that we did, but you are leaving me with no choice. Kanye said, he wanted the footage, and I gave him all of the videos and pics and texts from me and you, because I was trying to make things okay. So then on the next text, he says, hold on. Okay, he says, I was trying to make things okay and make you feel better. Now I realize this is another promo stunt for you. Unless you reach out to me soon, I'm going to take it to the level where it shows all of what we did, all of the meetings and convos about the plan, date and times of our meetings, and the whole lie you and Chris planned since the beginning. This is not a threat. You have taken this too far. You know what we did. Your mom controlled this whole sex tape deal with, again, someone's name who's been redacted, and it says it was her idea to put it out. Now you want to make it seem like I'm doing it again without your control. All those fake tears, your fans trusting you to be honest and sincere, but it's all fake for the cameras. I was playing my part until you started doing all of this. Why are you trying to ruin me? Why are you trying to ruin me when you know I was just a player in this? You have to stop believing your own lies. I have to let the world know the real because you've taken it too far. And then there's someone's name who's obviously redacted. And then it says somebody needs to explain the play you are doing to me ASAP, or I will have no choice but to protect my brand and my family and expose the real. I know how promo goes, and I get it 100%, but it's out of control with this new story, and my team is on my head thinking it's true. Me sticking a dildo in your back door, that's what he was talking about, while you was asleep is pretty out of control. LOL. Wouldn't you wake up if you felt that in your butt? I would hope so, Kimmy. It could never be that. I'm not even gonna say all that. He says it could never be anyway. I'm not gonna say all that. He said, LOL, just kidding. But seriously, it makes me look like a grapist without the G and dirty perv. And I'm catching a lot of slack from it. That's why I hit you like this. Out of all these years since the tape, we've been able to build brands and make a lot of money. You already got to the billies. Now, please help me stay in a positive light. And I want my kids to be proud of me. They are 3 and 2 years old. They are innocent. Please don't make their dad look like a loser when you know me more. Now, this is what she responds and says. He says, it's Ray if you don't know who this is, Ray J. So Kim responds and says, hi, I'm sorry. I'm only seeing your above DMs now. I am happy to hear that you're doing well and congrats on your beautiful family. In regards to your last message, did you actually watch the episode? Because I didn't say any single bad thing about you. The show filmed in real time the day in hell that I had with my lawyers when your manager threatened to release another tape that doesn't exist. And my son, who was 5 years old at the time, seeing an ad and my cry face emoji that said Kim's new sex tape as clickbait in Roblox. It was upsetting so to have to deal with that. It was upsetting so to have to deal with it, and I am. She says, and I'm sure you can understand also how that feels. If you're upset about the dildo comment, it was clearly a sarcastic joke, and I was laughing when I said it. My burn them to the ground comment was a generalization to anyone threatening to hold this over my head 20 years later. We are both parents now with young kids and careers, and I'm sure you want to move on from this like I do. But your manager is the person who brought all this up out of nowhere, and I have a right to share how it affected me. Next week's episode airs where Kanye brings me the computer, and he says he got it back from you, which shows you in a positive light for giving it to him. Thank you for doing that. And then he says, my team is demanding me to respond to what's out there now because it gets worse every day that I don't say nothing. Now that we talked, I feel different. I was going to go extreme, but not anymore. How should I respond? And then Kim replies, I completely understand and I appreciate hearing this from you. I want you to know that I wish nothing but the best for you. This has hurt us both in so many ways, and I know we are aligned in wanting to move forward in our lives and not continue to be defined by something we did 20 years ago. Thank you for reaching out. And my hope is that after next week, when everyone sees the computer was given back to Kanye, that this story will be dead and done. And so then she says, hold on. This story will be dead and done with. Just spoke to my team. We will get something out tomorrow morning to clarify that this was a joke and that you would have never done something like this. Hope this helps, and I'm sorry to hear how this has affected you. It wasn't my intention. So anyway, honey, yeah, Claudette said she was so matter of fact. Absolutely. Let me tell you something, honey. If I was Ray J, I would have been absolutely livid. Okay, and I would have done just what he did, exposed her. Because who does that? And then she wants to say, oh, I said it as a joke. Honey, that didn't sound like a joke. And she was sitting there crying whole fake tears and all of that, right? So clearly just trying to clout chase for her show. Miss African Ruth says, sorry, my arse. Okay, please. Vetta's daughter said, I can't with Holly Weird. And here's the thing. Now, mind you, did you notice how she was trying to manipulate him in the text? Oh, hey, how are you and your beautiful family? And I'm sure that this has hurt both of us. And we both are aligned and we want to just move past it. First of all, honey, you would have been moved past it if you hadn't brought it back into your storyline on the show. Clout chasing clearly. Okay? Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because we have far too many times seen the history of nefariousness with women that look like Kim Kardashian lying on Black men, painting narratives and putting out false allegations, things like that, to either demonize, vilify them, or even have them arrested. And back in the days, even had them lynched. Okay, this is the same thing. And Kim Kardashian, she's dated Black men forever, right? Now she's with a Caucasian man, but at the end of the day, she's still that type of person. So it just goes to show, honey, don't think that because they lay up with you that they care about Black people. Because at the end of the day, look what she's doing. Why would she even get on there and say that? Reggie said, shaking my whole head. Honey, me too. Me too. Odd Negroes official said Prince knew she was no good. Absolutely. Okay. Marcella said Ray J fake, Kim fake, Kanye fake, Hollywood's fake. Okay, beloved. Tahira said narcissists are dangerous, no morals. She is a danger to her kids. Nicole says yes, Queen. Yes, Nebula 4 says Emmett Till. Exactly. Exactly. And that was the point. Okay. Now she wants to sit there and say it was a whole joke. But had Ray J not come out and said anything, what would people really be thinking? That she said something like that. She said, oh, he could have a whole nother tape where he used the dildo while she was asleep. Okay, that's sexual assault. Who does that? And then the nerve of her to just so cavalierly and nonchalantly, apologize. Like, oh, don't get upset. It was no big deal. I said that sarcastically and I was laughing when I said it. So that's supposed to make it okay? That's supposed to make it all right. But like I told y'all last week, honey, she sit up there crying on that show trying to get crocodile tears and make people feel sorry for her and all that and act like she's so concerned about her kids. But she didn't think about her future children when her and her mother and Ray J all planned this. Okay, that's what she didn't think about. And furthermore, like I told you all, her mother had something to do with it being leaked because her mother was her manager. And so Ray J just proved my point because that's exactly what I always thought, was that her mother is the one who did that for clout, money, and fame, trying to mimic what Paris Hilton had done. Right. Trisha said, who jokes about being sodomized? Exactly, right? So crazy. Oh, so crazy. Anyway, honey, that's what it is. So, and now she's sitting there looking stupid, looking real stupid because she got busted out. So anyway, I'm about to head out of here. Now, hold on. Listen to this. This just came through. It says, after Aubrey's killing, Ahmaud Arbery, 16 calls between the DA and the shooter's dad. That's what it says. Well, we already know that they were friends and she was trying to help cover it all up. But it says, and this came out today, it says one of the men convicted of murder in the street chase and fatal shooting of Ahmaud Arbery spoke with his former boss, the local district attorney, several times by phone in the days and weeks following the 2020 killing, according to court documents filed on Thursday. Now, investigators found that the day after the shooting, the Brunswick Judicial Circuit District Judge or District Attorney Jackie Johnson placed a phone call to Greg McMichael, a retired investigator from her office, who initiated the deadly pursuit of Arbery. Now, the call lasted more than 9 minutes. Prosecutors said it was a misconduct case against Johnson, or they said this during the misconduct case against Johnson. Because remember, she had to go to trial for that. And now the filing opposes defense motions seeking dismissal of the case. So she's trying to get this all dismissed, honey, like she's not supposed to face any type of consequences for trying to cover up a whole, murder. So it listed 16 calls between phone numbers of Johnson and McMichael starting February the 23rd of 2020, when McMichael left Johnson a voicemail about an hour after the shooting, and it ended May the 5th of 2020, the day the graphic cell phone video of Arbery's killing leaked online. That's when the calls stopped. Now, the video sparked a national outcry over the young Black man's death at the hands of 3 white pursuers. More than half the calls lasted just a few minutes, just a few seconds to a minute, suggesting that some went unanswered and others involved voicemails. 7 calls lasted between just shy of 3 minutes to 21 minutes, according to the court records. Now, they say a grand jury indicted Johnson last year on a felony charge of violating her oath of office, as well as a misdemeanor count of hindering a police investigation. Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr's office is prosecuting the case, which alleges Johnson used her position to protect McMichael and his son. They say the evidence shows that Johnson showed favor and affection for McMichael throughout the dependency of the case, including when she was making decisions as the DA over the case, according to the prosecution's filings. Now, Johnson has insisted that she recused herself immediately from the investigation and turned the case over to outside prosecutors. Her attorneys have asked a judge to dismiss the charges, saying that there is not a scintilla of evidence that she interfered with the police investigation. Johnson's attorney, John Ossick, did not immediately respond Thursday to a phone call and email messages seeking comment on the calls between Johnson and McMichael. Now, the legal filing by prosecutors gave no details of any of the phone conversations. McMichael and his son, Travis McMichael, armed themselves with guns and used a pickup truck to chase 25-year-old Arbery after spotting him running in their neighborhood just outside the port city of Brunswick. Now, so basically, yeah, she was trying to get this whole thing just dismissed under the guise of claiming she didn't interfere with the police investigation, and in fact, that she immediately recused herself. Here's the thing. She eventually did recuse herself. She did eventually do that, but she didn't do it immediately, okay? The meantime, in between times, she was actively protecting them. They were not arrested or any of those things, right? They were not even taken in for questioning. So she was directly interfering in police business because there was no investigation being conducted because she was helping him to cover everything up, all right? As we already know by now, okay? And then Ladybug says, that's a lie. She told the officers not to arrest him. Yes, absolutely. They didn't even get arrested. And mind you, the officers didn't even confiscate their weapons. You remember that? Now, how many times do you see a scenario where someone's been murdered, and even if you don't have all the information, you clearly have to conduct an investigation, and shouldn't the weapons be confiscated? I mean, that's just normal policy and protocol, right? They didn't even take their weapons. They just told them when they arrived on scene, because remember, I showed you all the footage months ago. When they arrived on scene, they just told them to go put their weapons away. That's what they told them. Gave them a choice. Just go put it away. They didn't take them or anything, right? And then another thing, too, pay attention. They didn't even take their vehicles into possession because, remember, the vehicle had Ahmaud Arbery's DNA on it, proving that they hit him with the vehicle. Now, of course, this wasn't found out until after the fact. because they didn't even confiscate the vehicle in the first place. When they finally went to get it, it was sitting in Gregory McMichael's yard, and his wife looked like she just driven home with it. So this is what they did. They were clearly trying to cover this all up, honey. I hope they throw the book at her. I hope they throw the book at her. Right. Nebula said they talked about his toenails being dirty and all that. Yes. Like, what does that have to, but you see how they would try so hard and desperately to demonize and vilify a Black person? Because what did his toenails being dirty have to do with anything? That's what I'd like to know. And why were they even concerned or looking at his toenails? He had on shoes prior to them killing him. Okay? So what does that say? Absolutely. Byron B says, male-splaining 101. Absolutely. Tahira says she should not be out now. No, she shouldn't. Absolutely. So, honey, they were clearly on code, honey, on that day. But I tell you who wasn't on code, and lucky for him, the attorney who actually leaked that video. Because if it wasn't for him, honey, none of this story would have gone anywhere. It would have been a complete cover-up, I'm convinced. The only reason we even heard of Ahmaud Arbery is because that attorney who had nothing to do with the case got a hold to the video and leaked it. All right? Because they were sharing it amongst themselves. And the police, in fact, supposedly, from what they say, saw that video that same night. Oh, so crazy. Bungani said, did he have on shoes or sandals? Honey, he had on Timberlands. He was running. When he was jogging, he had on Timberland boots. So that's what I'm saying. How did they know what his toenails look like? Make that make sense. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Everyone make sure you like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Reggie said the demonization is real. Absolutely, beloved. It certainly is. And even with the case we talked about with Terrence Williams, the Black man who got into the car with the police officer and was never seen alive again, has never been found, body never found, or any of that. Let me tell you something. That's another thing that was concerning in his case, because you heard what Tyler Perry said. They feel like, oh, because he's a criminal, he's been in prison or jail before, and he's got different mothers of his children. What does that have to do with anything? Because here's the thing. They have the same issues often, and nobody says anything. Do you see how they vilify and demonize Black people just because, you know, a Black man may have multiple mothers to his children, as if they don't? And then they'll demonize a Black person for that. But Kim Klacik, right, who was running for Congress over there in Baltimore, her white husband has 5 or 6 babies' mothers with all these different children. And they don't say anything about him, right? Even though she was running for Congress at the time when all this came out. Okay, so that's how they do. They're not going to say anything about their own people. And you can be doing the same thing they're doing, but they'll make you like you're such a wicked person for doing it. Even with Sarah Palin, had a daughter who was a teen mom. They didn't say anything about that when she was running for vice president, but they had a lot to say about Michelle Obama showing her arms just because they were toned, saying it was unbecoming of a first lady. They talked about Barack, the time he wore that tan suit, said that was unpresidential, said the suit was ugly. I mean, they will find the least little minuscule thing they can to talk trash about Black people. But meanwhile, they can have people in the Oval Office and in the White House who are, in fact, porn models. Melania Trump, for example, right? These are the things they can do. They can have the son of the president, the sitting president, be a whole crackhead and accused of nefarious business dealings and shady practices. That's okay for them to do, but if you're a Black person, don't you dare get murdered by a racist devil and let them find out that you had a prior criminal history or dirty toenails, okay? Pay attention, honey. That's what they do. Also nefarious. So anyway, Williams says on the disappearance of those in race soldiers' custody, in the exact same way, no one died from a natural death. No one disappears from natural phenomenon as well. Need we say more? Exactly. He didn't just disappear off the face of the earth, right? Like I said, honey, I think those two of them, both of them, were fed to the alligators. That's just what I think. And that is exactly what they used to do back during Jim Crow and prior. So I'm not surprised. I told you, honey, the devils never stop being nefarious, and they clearly continue to do what they've always done. They just find other ways to do it so they don't get caught, and also they call it something else, right? That's all they do. Absolutely. Larry says they eat human, animals with human characteristics. So Dwayne said, making the U.S. look bad. Okay? So anyway, with that all being said, everyone please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAHMADIYYAH'S. You can also follow the Queen AHMADIYYAH'S fan page. And you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. With that all being said, I'm out like a light. I hope you all have a blessed and prosperous evening. Enjoy the rest of this lovely day. Do something productive and constructive, never destructive. All right? Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. And I hope to see you all in the morning for your morning wake-up calls.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make sense.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
AHMADIYYAH.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
AHMADIYYAH.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
AHMADIYYAH.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
AHMADIYYAH. Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen. I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
AHMADIYYAH.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
AHMADIYYAH.
oppression